I had an experience this morning at the Cuase that I want to share with you. We're making a wedding next week on the Tubav, and I met somebody who we share a mutual friend. He's been not coming for quite a while. He's busy with some important matters. And I asked him, "What's doing with our friend? How's it going?" He said he'll be finished at the end of the month. So I was hoping that he meant July. That way he would be able to attend our wedding. So he said something quickly, and I didn't catch it. It was Av. And I asked, maybe July? He said, I said the month of Av. Now, this is a very, very slight point over here, but I feel it's extremely important. When somebody says something, or misses something, something was said quickly, maybe it was probably most likely because of short attention spans that we have today, person might not necessarily catch every word, right? Then if you imply through your response that maybe the person is either hard of hearing or dumb, or maybe just like short attention span, ADD, whatever it might be, that can cause a person to be a little bit pained, uncomfortable, not feel so good about himself. And in truth, we have to really strive that every single word that comes out of our mouth are words of building, words of positivity, of words of strength, or words of giving and kindness. And this is really a very, very great accomplishment. Now, it is true that when people are learning Torah, the Gemara in Kedushin says, in the beginning, they're oyavim zelazeh, aleph of yud beis, yud mem, oyavim, like enemies. And in the end, they become oyavim zelazeh. They become beloved ones. Because it's true in the Melchamta Shel Torah, in the battle, as it were, of understanding Torah more clearly, that there is such a concept of being very, what's the right word? I always say vicious, that's not it. But being in war mode. Being in war mode, right? But that's something special to Talmud study. And even there, we have to be extremely careful, because it's very easy to slip into misuse of this technique, right? A person when he's speaking has to be very, very careful, because life and death are in the hands of the tongue, right? And it could be, if you give over positive words, a positive message, a positive feeling, you're building the person, and you're helping them get through the day, you're helping them feel better about themselves, giving them a good feeling, and giving them strength for the whole day. It's like taking a vitamin. It's like taking like a booster of energy, one of these protein drinks, right? On the other hand, if you give a person a negative feeling, you make him feel like either he's stupid or hard of hearing, or maybe just ADD, whatever it might be, then it's much more difficult to make it to the day. Instead of giving them a protein drink, you're giving them something that makes them weaker, maybe like a Corona shot, something like that. In any event, we have to be really, really careful with our mouth and realize the tremendous potential and power and elevation that could come from one positive or two or three positive words. That's number one. Number two, we have to realize that we have somebody constantly behind our back pushing us towards negativity. And that's called Ra, right? The Yetzer Hara, which the Vilna Gaon says manifests itself in 6 ways. Ra Mirma, evil deception, Taiva Chemda, physical and non-physical desires, and Goa and Gaon. Feeling pride, and feeling like we have to rule over other people. Feeling like we're elevated above others. And especially this function of the Yetzer Hara called Ra is constantly pushing us to be a little more harsh, a little more cutting, a little more critical. Even it might be the slightest innuendo, but it's always looking for a victory in battle. And a very deep point about the Yetzer Hara is he's not looking for major victories. The Yetzer Hara is looking for many, many minor victories, like maybe tens or hundreds every single day. The more minor victories the Yetzer Hara gets, the stronger it becomes. He's not looking to topple the person. He's looking for another minor victory and another minor victory, hundreds and thousands of minor victories, because that's the way he gets us in his control. So we have to be cognizant of that. Right? We have to realize it's the small battles that we have to focus on, because in generally, even though they happen, even though big battles do take place, generally it is the small battles where our efforts are really needed, because it's much finer. They're much finer, these battles, and sometimes it might even be hard to detect. Sometimes we might not even realize that we're in battle. The enemy could be shooting, let's say, what do they call them, pellets at us, which might generally not cause so much damage. But if you get 1,000 of them, it will topple you. So this is something we have to be really cognizant of. Number one, realizing the incredible power of our speech. Number two, building people, not throwing them down, no matter what situation it is. And number three, that the Yetzer Hara is looking for small victories, not big victories. He's looking to get as many small victories as possible. And if we keep this in mind, our whole day will be different. When someone talks to us, will be different. We'll look at this as an opportunity to build and strengthen and help another Jew. And this is the greatest thing a person could do. In fact, the Gemara Bava Basra says that when you give tzedakah, no matter what the amount, but the amount of brachas that you get for giving the money is less than the amount of brachas that good words. Like this gentleman just came by, and I gave him a shekel. I wasn't able to say something to him because I'm in the middle of the shir, but whenever I have an opportunity, I always try to give him strength and encouragement and good words. Yeah, because he's a Rosh Yeshiva and he's collecting for his yeshiva, and that's what Rosh Yeshivas really appreciate. Some good positive feedback, and that will give him the energy and the strength to be more successful throughout the day. So let's keep that in mind as much as we can. It's not easy, I agree, because especially when it might be early in the morning, we might be tired, we might be before the coffee, right? We might have had some difficult experiences, we might have slept last night, the baby might have kept us up, etc., etc. But it's when we're in those type of moods that we have to be especially on guard, because our defenses are down, and the Yetzer Hara, we might be extremely vulnerable at those times. The Yetzer Hara. Hashem can help us in the battle against the Yetzer Hara. We should all be successful in this very challenging endeavor. Amen.